Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It is the Prop Queen, Ariel Epstein. We'll do a little mini pod today. I actually wasn't even expecting to go live. I'm at my grandma's house. You can see. I wasn't sure how the internet would be, so we're testing it out because then I could go live tomorrow at normal time, 5 p.m. Eastern. But today, because we have Thanksgiving games starting at 1:30, I wanted to make sure that we got all these games in. Again, 1 o'clock, Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, 4:30, Bengals, Ravens, 8:20. I'm at grandma's house because I will be attending the Ravens-Bengals game. And clearly you could see that my internet is going to be very interesting for the next half hour. Thanksgiving drink of choice is obviously a wine. Like, what other would it be? I was just so confused. Someone texted me, you ever hear random people from Happy Thanksgiving? Okay, anyway. So I will be at the Ravens game tonight. Ravens Bengals 8:20. We're going to start tailgating like 4:30. It's cold here. It was beautiful out yesterday. I wish that it was going to be 65 degrees today like it was yesterday, but here we are. The best thing, actually, the best drink for my Thanksgiving Ravens game, day of choice, the Ravens pass around Bailey's hot chocolate around the stadium in the winter. And it is the best drink ever. When you are cold at a game, they literally come around with trays of hot chocolate, the vendors, and then they dump a shot of Bailey's into it while you're like, yeah, no, I want like a Bailey, like I want a hot chocolate with Bailey's. And then they like dump the shot. It's amazing. So that's what I'm really excited for tonight at the Ravens game. My Ravens are 7-point favorites. So God willing, things will go okay. If you subscribe to the PropQueen.com newsletter, you got it at 8 a.m. this morning. I gave out all these picks, but now we'll go through a lot of them, a lot of different props for today, starting with the 1 o'clock slate. And I'm going to use a lot of props.cash. 3 sides. Okay, Mark wants my 3 sides first. I'm going to go Packers because I'm going to fade the public, but I think the best way to play the Packers is in a teaser. It's plus 2.5. The Lions are the most public side of the day right now, according to DraftKings. I'm going to take the Chiefs and obviously the Ravens. I don't know. I'm very nervous about the Ravens, but Trey Hendrickson being out is huge. So God willing, the Ravens can win the game and hopefully cover. But I'm going to go Pack, Chiefs, Ravens today. I am going to give you guys props, though, and I'm going to use props.cash a lot today because props.cash has so many cool things, so many great features. Props.cash, you could go on and find out how players do on a short week, how players do with or without Joe Burrow, how players have done with or without Lamar, how players have done with or without Justice Hill. Justice Hill, the running back for the Ravens, out today. T. Higgins out today for the Bengals, the wide receiver. Trey Hendrickson out for the Bengals defense. So those are some key injuries to look out for, but that are also going to help us make some money today. Higgins is out. Yes, Higgins is out. Him and Trey Hendrickson are out. So those are big losses. And there is a trend I'm going to point out because there is a big missing piece to the, I think it was the Cowboys defense because I mentioned, was it Cowboys? Nope. Hold on. It was in the Packers game. The Lions are going to be without their safety, Kirby Joseph. That's what it was. So Kirby Joseph also out, which is why I'm going to talk about this prop. Let me just get props.cash up, and we'll talk about some of the trends for today. I wasn't prepared to go live today, but I was like, you know what? I might as well go live as opposed to pre-recording the video. And then you can always check out the YouTube page at Prop Queen Sports because, oh God, this is so choppy. The YouTube page at Prop Queen Sports is where you could get all of this, again, if you miss anything. So make sure to check out the Prop Queen Sports YouTube. Oh boy, we are super choppy. I don't know if this is going to work. Grandma's house. I told you, I was very nervous about being at grandma's. Let's start with the, I hope, and if you guys start to see that the feed is bad, just let me know if it's like cutting out, because it's cutting out for me already, which is not great. But I'm going to try my best to use grandma's Wi-Fi. So the reason I mentioned Kirby Joseph being out, look at Jordan Love's last 6 games against the Lions. He's gone over his longest pass in all 6 games. And he's going to have most likely Golden, Dobbs, Watson, and who's the one I'm missing? Wicks. All deep threats. Now going up against a defense that's without their safety, Kirby Joseph, who's out with a knee injury for the 6th straight game. So Jordan Love is going to have to throw the ball deep, right? I mean, you're up against the secondary that's always been the somewhat Achilles heel of the Lions. Obviously, their pass rush is great. You've got a bunch of deep threats. Jordan Love, divisional game, 2.5-point underdog. Over his longest pass was the best trend going into today. And even if you look at Jordan Love, let's just say 3 days rest, he's gone over in both on 3 days rest against the Lions. Overall this year on 3 days rest, threw a 57-yarder against the division, 1 for 2 this year. But against the division has gone over in about 6 of the last 9. So Jordan Love likes to throw the ball deep against his division. So we're going to go Jordan Love over on the longest pass. Another market you could look at for Love is his under 19.5 completions. I just don't like the fact that they played game 1 already. And in game 1, Jordan Love went under his completions. And I don't like to bet the same thing to happen twice in divisional matchups. So and then just looking against the division, under completions hits a lot, but he went under his completions September 7th. And I'm not going to bet the same thing to happen twice. So I'm not going to bet the under on completions for Jordan Love. But what you could know is that the Lions do allow the 9th least completions per game, 19 completions per game. Josh Jacobs, this number feels too low for me to get to the window on. But it's obviously he's coming off injury. So coming off of the, let's just get his chart up against the Lions. So Jacobs rushed for 66 yards on 19 carries in game 1, going over this 56.5. So obviously this 56.5 has to do with the knee injury. He hasn't played since November 16th against the Giants. The Lions, they've still allowed the 9th least rushing yards per game to running backs. 57% of running backs have gone under their rushing yard prop this year. The number just feels too low because the average for him is about 65.5. He's coming against the top 10 run D off of injury. So it all makes sense that Jacobs shouldn't have a huge run game, but I think this number of 56.5 is too low to take an under on, but it's worth noting. Jacobs under receiving yards also cashed in game 1, but the Lions allow the 5th least receiving yards per game to running backs. Jacobs only had 1 catch for 4 yards in game 1. So again, I don't like to bet the same result to happen twice. Let's go to Jahmyr Gibbs. That was the other player that I liked in this game. Let me just tweet. Talking Packers and Lions props now. What do you say? If anything, I think 19. Okay. Read's still not cleared. Move 38.5 to 36.5. Yeah, I mean, I'm just concerned because there were a lot of Jordan Love unders last game. But again, they should be able to stop Josh Jacobs at least. I'm having Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. Not today, but we have a tailgate today. Hi, Chris Thurston. Put your best bets in. Jahmyr Gibbs over 76.5 rushing yards for Craig Abel. CT, what are your best bets for today? Going to Jahmyr Gibbs props. So Jahmyr Gibbs, I actually was looking at his receiving yards. So receiving yards under 35.5 receiving yards. He's only averaging 22 receiving yards a game in his last 10 against the division, going under in 8 of those 10. On 3 days rest, Gibbs went under in all 3. The Packers allowed the 9th least receiving yards per game to running backs. 63% of running backs have got under their receiving yards prop against the Packers. So look at this. Against Green Bay, under 38.5. This has gone up. That's crazy. It was 35.5 earlier, so that scares me a little bit. But he had 31 in the last game against Green Bay, which was his high against the Packers. The Packers are good against pass-catching backs. Just looking at the last 10 games for Gibbs against the division, He's gone under in most games against his division. So this number just, I don't know, it's too high for me. I would take an under on Gibbs receiving yards. Lewis said he has got a prize picks lineup with over rushing. I don't mind over rushing and receiving just because rushing yards he could go over, but I just don't like him receiving. CT bets, one of my close friends, Lions -3. Oh boy. I mean, you could tease the Packers, tease the pack. The Lions are so public, Chris. So public. God, can't believe you're back in the public today. Another market for Jared Goff. So the Packers have allowed the 5th least passing yards per game at 198. Goff went under his passing yards though in game 1. So again, I'm hesitant always to do game 2 and game 1 the same result. But if you aren't and you feel that Jared Goff could go under again against the Packers, then go for it. Oh boy, Mark's going to fight Chris. Lions are toast. Pack fake sharp today. Fake, okay. Okay, Chiefs and Cowboys props. You could talk to Chris about sides. I don't bet sides as often. I like my props. Chiefs at Cowboys props. So I like the Chiefs today. So a lot of my props do gear towards the Chiefs covering and winning. Javonte Williams under 68.5 rushing yards. I feel like we're not remembering that Javonte Williams was a Denver Bronco. So he played against Kansas City every year. And the Chiefs had his number. And I know that he split the backfield, but he's a familiar running back. So you don't have to, like, the Chiefs know how to prepare for him. Javonte Williams, he's faced Kansas City 6 times. And he went under 68.5 rushing yards in 4 of those 6 matchups. In his 10 primetime games, he's averaged 52 rushing yards a game. The Chiefs have allowed the 4th least rushing yards per game to running backs, with 65% of running backs going under their rushing yards prop against the Chiefs. If Dallas is playing from behind, they're going to have to throw the football. And the prop 68.5, Williams has rushed for 80 plus in 5 straight home games. So the number is pretty much telling you that this shouldn't be as great of a game for Javonte Williams as he's had of late. So I'm going to be fading Javonte Williams today. Look at this, 22.5. He's done well against the division. He's done well at home. So why is this number so freaking low? And it's dropping. Fishy. Dak Prescott. Since the start of last season, let me just take this off for a second. So since the start of last season, Dak Prescott has faced 5 different top 10 defenses. He's averaging 22 completions, 34 pass attempts, 233 passing yards a game in those matchups. Dak's completions prop is 24.5, and he's averaging 22. His passing yards prop is 266.5, and he's averaging 233 against top 10 pass Ds. This is the best defense that he's probably seen this year, Dak. The Chiefs have allowed the 5th least pass attempts, 7th least passing yards per game. You could also look at Dak's rushing yards prop at 8.5. He's averaging 12.5 rushing yards a game at home in prime time, going over in 5 of 9. The Chiefs have allowed the 6th most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks. They're also top 10 in blitz rate. So if there's a ton of pressure applied, the Cowboys are playing from behind, Dak's going to be scrambling. This year, in the 2 games against teams that are top 10 in blitz rate, Dak ran 6 times for 31 yards against Denver, 7 times for 28 yards against the Jets. 55% of quarterbacks have gone over their rushing yards prop against the Chiefs this year. So if the Chiefs are blitzing, I could expect Dak Prescott to scramble with the football. I'm always just checking that. I'm just checking the chat. Okay, anyway. Patrick Mahomes for his props. So the Cowboys are bottom 10 in completions, pass attempts, passing yards, passing touchdowns allowed per game. I know everyone's going to say the Cowboys defense is better now. They got Quinnen Williams. Mahomes is still averaging 26 completions, 38 pass attempts, 289 passing yards, the last 2 seasons facing a bottom 10 pass state. His longest throw averaged 39 yards in those matchups. On the road, Mahomes has about the same numbers. Again, Mahomes' longest pass prop, 37.5. But if you want to look it over for something, pass attempts for me on the road this season, Mahomes averaging, here, I'll show you the Mahomes numbers. So on the road this year, Mahomes is averaging, well, he's gone over in 4 of 5, averaging 37 pass attempts in his last 10 road games. This year, averaging 39 pass attempts per game in his 5 road games. So Mahomes loves to throw the football on the road. I mean, we know that they're pretty one-dimensional. Their runs, like their Isaiah Pacheco, just the whole run game just sucks in Kansas City. But this is the trend. So if anything, Mahomes over pass attempts, if you think it's a close game. But this is the trend that I absolutely loved. And you guys might have seen it on my social media yesterday. I couldn't believe it because it's just, we don't really talk about him. But look at the last 10 primetime games for Juju Smith-Schuster and his longest reception. All of them went over. All of them. Juju has not gone over his longest reception in 3 games. It's prime time. It's Thanksgiving. Clearly, there is a trend here of Mahomes going to Juju in prime time. And if you want to cut that down to 3 days rest, aka Thursday Night Football, 2 of the last 3 went over on 3 days rest. 3 days rest on the road, both of them went over. So who cares it's on the road? Who cares it's 3 days rest? Juju Smith-Schuster is the go-to guy in prime time. And this number is super low. So over on the longest reception for the underrated Juju Smith-Schuster. He needs to give Pacheco and Hunt more involved to take the pressure off him. Yeah, well. Sorry, I keep freezing. Sorry that the feed is so bad. This is not good. Okay. Sorry. I think I had a Mahomes rushing yards. No, it was Dak rushing yards. Okay, so that's what I had for that game. And then lastly, Bengals at Ravens props. I was toying back and forth with the running back situation. I like a lot of running back props. Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell receiving yards both stood out to me. The Bengals have been one of the worst against pass-catching backs. So the Bengals have allowed the second most receiving yards per game to running backs, 46 a game. Derrick Henry's receiving yard prop, 6.5. Keaton Mitchell's is 8.5. Henry's gone over in all 3 games without Justice Hill on a short week. Henry's also cashed this over in 4 straight without Hill in prime time. Keaton Mitchell's hit the over in 2 of 3 without Justice Hill, 28 and 23 receiving yards. The Bengals struggling. Here's the thing. I also could see Derrick Henry having a big game on the ground. These 2 teams have to play each other in 2 weeks. So whatever doesn't happen in this game is happening again in 2 weeks. Just FYI. But the way I would play Derrick Henry is over his 19.5 yards longest rush. At home in prime time with Lamar Jackson under center, Henry's cashed this over 19.5 yards for a longest rush in 3 of 4 games. The Bengals have allowed the most rushing yards per game to running backs, 131 a game. Out of the 11 games where the Bengals have played this year, 9 number 1 backs have gone over their longest rush prop. 9 out of 11 teams. Number 1 backs have gone over their longest rush prop. That's according to props.cash. So I would lean more Keaton Mitchell over receiving yards, and I would lean Derrick Henry over his longest rush. And you bring up Chase. I'm thinking of a different Chase. Chase Brown, the Bengals running back, over 18.5 receiving yards. He had 52 receiving yards in Baltimore last November. That game was also on 3 days rest. He's also gone over in 4 straight road primetime games. Against teams bottom 10 against pass-catching backs, Brown's averaging 34 receiving yards a game since the start of last year. The Ravens have allowed the 7th most receiving yards per game to running backs, 38 a game. 57% of running backs have gone over the receiving yard prop against the Ravens. And last year, Zach Moss went over his receiving yard prop, and Chase Brown went over his receiving yard prop in both those games. So that's the Chase that I'll be looking for, is Chase Brown over his receiving yards, even though everyone's going to look for Jamar Chase coming off suspension. He probably destroys the Ravens too. But I don't like betting receiving props. I like longest reception. So Jamar Chase over longest reception, at least you could just rely on the Ravens to blow coverage once, which is very likely. Like Isaiah likely. We could talk a little bit of anytime touchdowns for today. just some of the most likely to cash. So some of the most likely to cash, according to props.cash today, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, Javonte Williams, Derrick Henry, Rashee Rice are your top 5 projected, and Jamar Chase projected to score. Mark Andrews is up there. Kelsey's up there. If you like anytime touchdowns. So that's what props.cash says is the over anytime touchdowns. Lamar loves his tight ends. It's true. We haven't seen. Okay, so you guys all are looking at likely. So let's look at likely. At home, prime time. At home, short rest. Cincinnati. He scored last year in Cincy. But again, it's very hard to know with likely. But if you want a nice payout, I don't hate it. But Mark Andrews him and Lamar have really been connecting recently. Nailed Kittle's longest reception last Monday. Longest reception props are like my favorite because you could totally tell when people like longest reception. You have to look at these like prime time numbers because there are just certain players that on a short week or in prime time that they could look at this. Let's see. Tyquan Thornton. It's another underrated player on the road this year. Look at that. 4 of 5. Tyquan Thornton. That can't be his number. 1.5. I don't think that they updated the number. Let's see what Pickett says. Stop sharing. Share screen. So, according to Pickett, this is what I love too. You can just compare all these prices. And Pickett is coming out with a new feature today, which I have to see if it's out yet. But I'll let you guys know in a second what that is. Receiving. Tyquan Thornton. Come on. The internet is not my friend today. Okay, that's not showing up. Anyway, you could look at Tyquan Thornton, who's had some pretty big catches of late. So definitely something to keep in mind when his prop comes up for Kansas City. Pickett is actually coming out with a really cool feature that should be coming out today, where basically you could just have an open parlay amongst friends. So Kelly and I are going to do it with our friends too, where you go to Pickett Sports, use promo code PropQueen to sign up, and you basically could just like, you choose a leg, then you send it to your friend puts in a leg, then you send it to another friend, and that friend puts in a leg. So it's a really fun way to spend Thanksgiving. You could either love or hate each other. I think it's a great idea. 14%. Let's see if we have any propaganda to do before I go. My computer's going to die. I really didn't think that I was going to go live today. He hasn't posted props yet. No. He just posted sides. John Ewing said Jahmyr Gibbs over receptions is the most bet on player prop on Thanksgiving. The Lions running backs had 12 targets and 11 receptions. See, I told you guys we like Jahmyr Gibbs under 35.5 receiving yards. I'll put this in the chat. Jahmyr Gibbs, over receptions, most bet on player props. So we like the under receiving yards. So if you guys are just tuning in and you're late to tuning in, at the top of the show, I mentioned that I like Jahmyr Gibbs under 35.5 receiving yards. He's averaging 22 in his last 10 against the division. He's gone under in 8 of those 10 matchups. The Packers allow the 9th least receiving yards per game to running backs this year. So something to definitely keep in mind when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs. Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown, the last 4 weeks has hit. He's the most bet on player to score a touchdown today, Kareem Hunt. That's something to also keep in mind. Favorite Thanksgiving food? Dark meat turkey with mac and cheese is a must. It's an absolute must. Yes, FanDuel has passed the leg. So Pickett is doing the same thing. But Pickett had this idea weeks ago, and it's just coming out at the same time. Happy Thanksgiving. It's water. It's just water. I don't know if you could see it. It's just water, though. It's not vodka. It's water. I'm not going to start drinking until the tailgate. So I have Thanksgiving tomorrow, and then the tailgate today at 5 o'clock. Happy hour in Baltimore. My computer's going to die. So my royal lock of the day is, of course, the Juju Smith-Schuster over 8.5 yards for his longest reception. It's a number he's gone over now in 10 straight primetime games with the Kansas City Chiefs. I also am going to have a Prize Picks lineup that I'm going to be posting. So check out my Prize Picks lineup. Go sign up to Prize Picks, by the way, using promo code PropQueen. And if you want to use any of these graphs from props.cash for yourself, then you could sign up to props.cash using promo code PropQueen, and you get 50% off your first month. So it's like $9 if you want to use it today. Just go sign up for props.cash using promo code PropQueen, and you can see all those really cool graphs and trends for yourself. It's a really, really useful tool. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope that you guys have some winners, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope this live stream goes well. So it's planning to go 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow here at Grandma's house on the live stream. Good luck to all your bets. Happy football. Happy Thanksgiving.